protagonists who are rated 749 and 654. They hail from Norway and from Russia. Their first names are on the screen. And the title is actually called Winning at What Cost, because it was the name of the post where this was submitted. Also, do you like the lighting? I turned off my overhead lamp. Looks really nice. Anyway, let's just jump right into this game. Fantastic stuff. E4, beautiful. I love this. We got our friendly eval bar there on the left-hand side. E4, E5, and Bishop C4. Now, with Bishop C4, I don't really know what we're going after. I mean, maybe Sander is trying to play Knight to C3, Vienna. Maybe Sander wants to play Queen H5 and go for 4-move checkmate. That's the beauty. I truly have no idea, but I do know Black's next move is already a mistake, and that move is D5. I cannot stress enough how little sense this move makes. Perhaps Black was anticipating Knight to F3, which is what they usually face, and Black was trying to play the Elephant Gambit. I'm not joking. That is what this is called. And the point is that take E4. The problem is that if you pre-move on the second move of the game, you're just going to lose a pawn. Now, I also want you to know before we proceed, this is a 30-minute chess game. 30 minutes. I'm not exaggerating. So, yeah, it's a 30-minute chess game, okay? White takes on D5, naturally, because it's a free pawn. And we have C6. Kind of extending the gambit a little bit further, pawn takes. And now, since you're playing a gambit with the black pieces, you obviously have to catch up with your development, knight takes C6, or else the gambit simply doesn't make any sense. Okay, and now as of move 4, black is completely lost because black is down a clean pawn. White now is going to get very fast development, and this pawn is goofy, and it's just a great position for white. Knight to F3, normal move, attacks the pawn in the center. Black should now play knight D7 or bishop D6 or F6 even. I wouldn't hate this move, but black plays bishop to E6. This move is just a total error because now white can take on E6. If you can create doubled pawns and just split pawns like this across your opponent's board, you're going to win the game because they're just going to get hunted down. It's going to be like Pac-Man or Pac-Woman. I don't know. It's 2021. So you're just going to win those pawns. And this is what you got to do. Instead of that, white gets excited and takes on E5. And I don't dislike that move. You do protect this, but now black plays a very nice move, which is queen to D4. Not to just take out of instinct, just take. Queen D4 is a really annoying move. And now there's two things under attack, and you can bet you could bet your life, don't, but you can. When a 700 is faced with a conundrum like this, they're just going to completely malfunction. This is actually a really difficult thing to solve, because if bishop takes bishop, there's check. And now you're losing a piece. So, white's only move, queen e2 to protect both. That is the only way you can protect two pieces at once. Of course, white castles and simply loses a piece. So, white simply bishop takes or queen takes knight, and it's just a full piece. But instead of that, black plays bishop to d6. Why would you play the move that attacks two pieces at the same time and then not take them? You should attack them again, obviously, Listen, I just make the videos. I don't really know. Now, this is still a very difficult position. White has only rook e1 here. And rook e1 works because you create an attack on the king. So bishop c4, knight c4 is a discovery. And if this gets played, you have this. And if this, you have the absolutely unbelievable queen h5 check. Which, if that was seen in this game, I might report both players for a random drug test. So instead of that, we get knight to f3. And now, obviously, queen is going to take the bishop. Good. Okay, black is just a piece up. So a total swing in the opening. Black is a full piece up. White attacks the queen. And now white's got to get the pieces into the game or continue to attack the queen. I got no clue what that move does. I'm not going to lie to you. C4 makes so little sense to me. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say white is trying to get the queen out. White sees this. That's my prediction. C4 just makes so little. I mean, you got to develop the knights and the bishops, right? Okay, but black plays knight a6. I don't get that move either. I mean, I don't know why you're not just playing standard developing stuff. Black's like, ooh, horsey. Haha, nice. Now you're actually playing directly into white's hands with queen to a4, which would attack the knight and the pawn. Instead, white plays the baby queen development, which is queen to c2. I don't know. It's like your most powerful piece, and you're just leaving it over there. So I don't know. Queen c2, knight c5. Knight c5 is, I mean, it makes sense. Bringing the knight to the middle, kind of. I mean, I would have liked to see the queen get attacked, but okay, knight c5. But see, when you put your knights in the center like this, they're going to be targets for pawns, and white plays the move d4, and black just keeps going forward. I mean, black just keeps coming forward. Now here it's +2. It's borderline impossible to understand why it's +2. I mean, you're more than welcome to try to look for it. It's the fact that this queen cannot actually protect this knight. You attack the queen, and if the queen goes to g6, you play knight to h4, and the queen has to abandon the defense of the knight. And if the queen goes to f5, you play knight h4, and the queen has to abandon defense of the knight. And if the queen plays queen f4 to try to mate you, you take the queen. So h3, knight h4, very interesting little geometric thing. Just keep this in mind. Always look at pieces that only have one thing defending them and see if you can get rid of it. Instead of that, white just plays one kind of attacking move on this side of the board, and black goes back to e7. Okay, now we have rook d1. I don't know what that move does, and I'm kind of inclined to sing rook d1, because it's not the actual song, but again, you're not really pushing through d5. But listen, white already hung a piece, so I'm just happy that white is not hanging anything else. Rook to d8. Now white is better again because white can play knight to e5 and continue to attack this queen, but white actually goes rook e1. Okay, so white can't really decide what to do with the rook. Attacks this knight in the middle. I mean, this rook has now made 2 moves. So this is under attack 2 times. Black should protect it with either the bishop, the pawn, the knight, moving the knight. Instead, black gives it up 100% for free. I don't know. I mean, you just... That's not hard to see. This is a 30-minute game of chess. You clicked on 30-minute in order to play a game where you can focus and think. Bishop f6. Rook takes e4. Queen f5. Now, white needs to not hang this queen or this rook. So I would like think rook e2 maybe. Or queen e2 to just get out of the pin. Instead of that, at this point, white goes, oh my god, I'm so smart, I can go attack this queen. The problem is bishop takes h4. That's the problem, is that you are pinned. This is not something you should be blundering in a 30-minute game. I don't care if you're rated 749. It's not hard to see, boop, boop, boop. That's why you click the 30-minute button. But okay, knight h4, black doesn't see it either. Black doesn't see it either. And now this is actually under attack. So white plays the move g3. Now, however, bishop and rook, which you just moved to f6, target up on the d4 pawn, which is obviously going to get captured. Very good. Rook takes d4. Now, if rook takes d4 is ever played in a game between 2 people rated below 1,000, the next move that you can expect is the move rook takes d4. Like 9.5 times out of 10, because it's just there. You might as well do it. But no, white is an enlightened 700 rated player who says, no, Gotham tells me not to take just for the sake of taking. Although in that case, you should have taken for the sake of taking. And now black plays a great move. I love this move. It's probably the best move that they've played of the game. It's the move g5. Now, I understand it's +1, but g5 is a fascinating move because you actually have a lot more pieces out, and you force this knight into a very difficult situation. Because knight f5 is the only move by white, and white just thinks that they're going to lose this knight, which they're not. And if rook takes e4, there's this with another pin. So instead of that, white now plays a move because black played their g-pawn 2 squares. White moves their g-pawn an equidistant amount away on the g-file. The problem is that when you move this, you forgot that this pawn protected the knight. So even though the pawn can't take the knight, the queen can. The queen can take the knight after you play g4, which is something you should see in a 30-minute game. And black plays queen h6. So black also does not see in close proximity that the queen can take the knight in a 30-minute game. Now, white again can move forward to f5, where white will be attacking some stuff. Instead of that, white goes back to the king, because the king loves his horse. Not like that, you weirdos. Knight e7. Queen to f2. Rook d1 check. Again, white just has a blatant disregard for 11 points of material. I don't know whether white thought they were completing a Tetris piece mission, just building a little Tetris piece. Like, why don't you play knight c3? and bishop e3. Why were the chess gods instructed to give you a rook, knight, and bishop if you're not going to use them? Queen f2. Okay, whatever. Rook d1 check. Great move. Now, this is under attack and this is under attack, so naturally, you have to bring the rook back because that's the only lateral defender you have. You also can bring your queen, but that would lose a queen. So white goes here and loses the bishop. White has so little respect for their queen side that they're just losing all their pieces. Now this rook is just gobble, 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 gobble. Hungry Hippo. Pac-Man. Pac-Woman 2021. I don't know. They should... Is there a Pac-Lady? Like, is there like a game called Pac-Woman? Knight d2. Rook takes a1. White thinks it's not enough to just lose your bishop. It's not enough to not develop your bishop. It's not enough to not develop your rook. White just loses a bishop and a rook. Why? This is a 30-minute game of chess. Why? You know what white should do? Look up local therapists in Norway. Okay? Rook a4. Look, white saw rook a4 and white really liked it. Rook a4, rook a7. I mean, black is completely winning. What you do now, you can continue to take free stuff. You can castle. I mean, I would just get the king out of the way. Or just, oh, I'm up mad material. Just go trade queens. Like, and knowing white plays this move and like hangs like checkmate or something. I mean, you just go trade queens. Okay, what does black do? Black takes free stuff. I love it. Mwah! Beautiful, free stuff. Okay, rook a7. Now, black has a lot of pieces. This very powerful rook, this bishop that can at some point get over here, castling out of the way, maybe moving this knight out of the way, bringing the queen back into the action. If I gave you 10 guesses here, you would not be able to predict black's move. Black has so much variability in this position, you would never in a million years guess the move that black played, ever. You could try. f6. I don't know what the hell is the point of that move. You are up a rook and a piece, and you play f6. Why? What does that do? Check. Now you're like, oh, well, if I move my king, I lose my rook. Very good. So you block. Beautiful. Queen e3. All right. So that attacks this. White does not have a lot of pieces left. So you see this attacks this. This attacks this. The knights are not scaring anybody, right? So you just need to make sure you don't lose this bishop. There are a few ways of defending it. Moving your king to defend it, or actually interposing, which would justify the move f6. You block the attack and you are defended. But black here goes, well, they move their queen and don't let me go. Oh, well, now I can go there, even though you could have gone there in the first place and traded queens and won the game. Now queen h4, and now, even though white is down 7 points of material, white is winning, because white is going to take this, and then this, and now the material deficit is only 1, and the queen and the rook are going to beat up this king, whose entire army abandoned him on the other side of the board, and the rook on h8 is just a stoner, okay? The rook on h8 lives in Colorado and smokes that good stuff. Just lays in bed, vibes, has a good time, not gonna go help the king out, all right? Does not believe in the government. So, well, I guess that would be a monarchy, but whatever. I mean, and white now plays queen takes e6, and obviously the game is over. You've made it. Congratulations. 29 moves in this game. Finally, the evaluation bar swings. Rook takes c8 check, king g7. Now, when you have angry forces knocking on your door, what do you need to play? Every single move needs to be a check. If you take your foot off the gas for a second, you will get demolished. So naturally, white plays rook takes pawn and blunders the entire game all the way back. Rook takes pawn makes less sense than... you know what I was going to say? Something borderline political. I'm not even going to do that, all right? No. It makes less sense than the fact that the press conference of the World Chess Championship was announced like 6 hours before it happened. It happened. Did you know that it happened? It happened. There was a press conference for the World Chess Championship, and no one knew about it. Yeah. Well, if you're watching like 6 months in the future, then you already know who the world champion is. You could tell me in the comments. Rook takes c6, queen takes pawn is not even a threat. It's not even a threat, and even if it was, wouldn't you think that your opponent is going to attack you? Bishop d4, rook e1. So you should take with the rook and win the queen. Rook takes e1, wins the queen. Fantastic. That's it. Black is going to win the game. Knight back to f1. Just take. It's mate in 5, but just take the queen. Bishop d4 check is played. This is a great move because now the king is going to come up and help. The game is over. It's mate in 4. We have king to g2. And now queen f2 just wins the game. Okay, why would you bring the queen but not continue its path? It's 2 squares. You can discard all these moves instantly, but this move has protection in the form of the bishop that you just moved, and literally, from this point forward, a blind person could win this game. No disrespect to my visually impaired folks. I'm just saying that if right now all your vision somehow shut off, you would still find a way to win this game. I don't even know how you would be able to do it. You would need a Braille chessboard. Maybe one came in handy. It's just over. I mean, king h3 takes and then you win. King h1, it's made in like 5 different ways. Literally, by the way, you can take like 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, it's crazy. So rook b8. For some reason, now the stoner is trying to get involved. I swear, this rook on h8 is like the brother in The Godfather who screws everything up. I forgot his name. Fredo? Is that his name? I don't remember. But rook b8 is like, oh, wait for me. And now the game is back to almost equality. You know how? Queen d7 check. King back to g8. Forced rook trade. Take. Queen by itself. King f7, queen d7, like let's say like king g6 and takes. That is what the engine wants. It wants you to win the bishop and get into a knight and 5 pawn situation versus a rook and 3 pawns. And black is still playing for a win, but it's really difficult. Anyway, obviously that doesn't happen whatsoever. After the move rook to b8, why did white do any of this? And there's also a hanging queen. White played this in order to play queen takes f6 check and confidently blunder a full queen because the bishop is 2 squares away. I mean, the fact that white did not see that is just, it's just absolutely disgusting. White was finally given one chance to save the game after just rook b8 gets played out of nowhere. And instead of taking their chance, they play queen takes f6. And now they lose the game after... Okay, they don't lose the game just yet. Instead, they take the bishop, which could have taken their queen. And now black continues the attack with rook to e2. Yes, very good. King to g1. Now, you cannot play queen f2. It's actually a very tough position already. Maybe you should team your rooks up on the e file, right? You should play like rook e8 or something like that. But black decides to finish the journey with the Godfather rook and plays rook to b1, creating a threat of rook takes f1 check, king takes f1, and queen e1 mate. The problem is you've left your king with absolutely zero cover. And now white, in a very timely fashion, finds queen d8 check, king moves up, queen slides back, don't run and alternate, queen slides back, and the king is completely laser beamed. And after check on c8, rook e8, rook takes e8, checkmate, Sander from Norway won the game.